Miss Sandra James was elected to the Cupertino City Council in November of 1997. Her term of office ends in November of 2001. She was elected by the council as vice mayor in November 1999 and as mayor in November of 2000, and she'll hold that position for this year. She serves on the following council committees. She serves on the Silicon Valley Manufacturing Group Housing Leadership Council, the Library Expansion Committee, Cupertino Audit Committee, Economic Development Team, Environmental Review Committee, alternate. She is the chair of Leadership Cupertino and Tomorrow's Leaders Today, the Northwest Flood Control Zone Advisory Committee, Santa Clara County Cities Association, the Santa Clara County Emergency Preparedness Commission, Senior Center Expansion Committee, the West Valley Mayor and City Managers, and she's co-chair of the Library Expansion Steering Committee. Is that it? She's lived in the community for more than 30 years. In addition to being on the city council, she has served in a number of capacities over the past years. President of the Cupertino Union School District Board. She gave them 8 years of service. Chair of Measure A, which raised $71 million for improved school facilities. Vice Chair of the Cupertino Parks and Recreation Commission. Member of the Anza College Library Commission, Little League Board. Cupertino Rotary, the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce. She's a board member of Operation Outreach, a program which encourages youth to lead a drug-free life. She's a member of the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce Business Education Link and a member of the Fremont Union High School District Foundation Board. And she is self-employed as a human resources consultant. So with that, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Sandra James.
Thank you. I can't imagine where you got that all from. Welcome. This is absolutely wonderful. Look around you, please, and see who's here today. You know, this is the first time I think that we have had such a representation from our business community. Our developers are here. We have all of our educational institutions, city employees, religious entities. We have our social service organizations and general community members. We have teens and seniors and all of us in between. This is what Cupertino looks like, and this is what it's all about. I had plans of making one kind of presentation today, and after what happened yesterday, I think that I need to start out the day talking about what happened at Anza College yesterday, which turned out with a very happy ending. We are all here today, and all of our students are healthy and safe. And it is because of our law enforcement community, the partnerships we have with all of the agencies that work in emergency preparedness. And I would like to very briefly talk to you about that, and then I'm going to ask the sheriff and or her designee to give you an official briefing so that you're not dealing just with what you read in the papers and hear on national and local television, but that you will hear directly from us that your community is safe and how the system worked this time, and it worked very, very well. For you, those of you who have been asleep the last 24 hours, a young 19-year-old Anza student had a plot yesterday to blow up the cafeteria at Anza at 12:30 in the afternoon, a time when many students would be there, perhaps including my own son who goes to Anza College. And he had plans to have bombs placed in other parts of the campus. His plan was discovered by a very astute and alert young woman who was a clerk at Long's drugstore in the San Jose Long's, and who was processing his photographs, which he had taken of himself with his bombs and with his weapons. And she picked up the phone and called the San Jose police. A very good example, and I will have more of those today, of somebody who didn't just sit on the sidelines, but saw something that didn't look right, did something about it, and in this case saved many, many, many lives. And we will be doing something, Martha and I have already talked about this, the city and Anza will be working together to figure out some way to memorialize her heroism, whether that's a scholarship or whatever, we haven't decided yet. The San Jose police were able to go to the store while he was still there, and so they had this young man in custody, And were able to confiscate his weapons, and at this point did not know that there was a connection to our community. It was actually later that night, and I won't go into the timeline because I would like Laurie or Jeff to do that with you. But there was a time lapse before we knew about it because of search warrants and finding bombs and then having the perimeter secured, having a bomb squad there. When they did find that there was a De Anza connection, they notified the Santa Clara Sheriff's Department. For those of you that do not know, we contract with the Santa Clara Sheriff's Department rather than have our own city police department, and this is an excellent example of why we do that. We could not afford, nor would we have the resources to have a bomb squad or a CERT team or full-time detectives or a canine unit or any of the things that we need from time to time, but we don't have the resources nor the training to keep at the level of expertise we need. This is a very good example of our CERT team, which is outstanding. I know these people, and I've been to many of their competitions and their training, and they were here immediately when we needed them. They spent the day securing and searching for that area, and when we didn't need them, they're back somewhere else helping someone else. So this is a perfect example of why the maximization and the very good use of public resources makes sense. Our Sheriff's Department, in collaboration with the San Jose Police, with the FBI, with all the other agencies involved, our fire district was on alert all day and all night. They were ready if we needed them. Fortunately, we did not. And our city staff and emergency preparedness, of course, we were all there too. This is a story where the ending was a good one. We evacuated, I think, 13,000 students in 35 minutes off that campus because Martha Cantor, the president of De Anza, had her staff trained. And those of you that have companies, if you haven't done that kind of thing, you need to talk to our Sheriff's Department about how you do it, because that is an amazing feat. Without panic, and while our streets were congested for a little bit, you know, they weren't congested any longer than if it was an automobile accident, and then things moved on. Today we're all here, our students are safe. As I say, it has a happy ending, but it certainly changes the tenure of what I wanted to talk to you about today. I am going to continue on after the briefing to do the State of the City address because there are a lot of connections here that I want to talk about. But before that, I wanted to ask Laurie to come up, please, and perhaps Jeff Miles or whoever she wants to give us a briefing. We won't do question and answer now because we'll be here forever, but we will stay afterwards. So any of you that have questions and answers about this incident after the State of the City address, we'll be happy to answer them for you. Laurie Smith.
Sandy, I think that you've really covered all of the highlights. I think the only addendum to the story is that we really recognize the efforts of the young woman who's 18 years old, who happens to be a daughter of a San Jose police officer. Her efforts are what really stopped this, and I think it was her efforts alone. And also San Jose Police Department in the middle of the night, following up these leads, getting the search warrant, making the notifications. This is how I believe that public safety works in the correct way, and we're real happy that we don't have something else to report. I've viewed the photographs, I've heard the tape. The way they're described in the media as being very bone-chilling is correct. I honestly believe, based on the detail of the plan that he had, based on the fact that he had timelines, he seemed to be adhering to those timelines. We're fortunate that we got there 3 hours ahead of when this was to occur. And certainly the most important thing is the fact that he had the active devices, and these were bombs that had a pretty high level of sophistication, whether they were fuse devices, timing devices, or switches where you pick them up. He was planning to not only bomb, but also do some shooting and also cause some fires, and he had all of those devices active. I really believe that we, and that's a collective we, that involves the school district, De Anza College, and Martha was on scene on that, law enforcement, fire, the community, and I think that there's many heroes in this. We're just a small part of it, but I'm really proud of the people that we have in our department, because this is the kind of service that you get. And I want to add something also that Sandy said. We provide service to you because I believe we're very cost effective, and we've looked at the numbers, and And when you do comparisons between cities, we are very cost effective. But I also think that we provide the highest level of service to you possible, and that's really our commitment. The men and women of the Sheriff's Office, men and women of all public safety, including fire, I think that you have the finest examples of the people present. So, thanks.
I just want to add to that I think I was interviewed by every news service and every TV crew yesterday, that Martha and I both, that exists. And there were certain questions that were asked over and over again, even this morning when we did a briefing, and I just briefly want to touch on the one that comes up most frequently, and that is, why in the world did De Anza allow those students on campus in the morning when they knew this was going on? And the real answer to that is giving the timeline of when this gentleman was when he was detained, when they got a search warrant, when they secured the premises, you don't go in there and go mucking around when there's bombs all over the place. You know, when they secured that, had the bomb squad go in, they went through the evidence and they found that there was a connection. It was in a matter of about a half an hour between the time San Jose police called us and we were on our way to De Anza. De Anza knew about it, they started evacuating. It was a very quick response. So when you hear those questions, please, think about it a little bit. It just isn't just an automatic response. I know the law enforcement community. I know our firefighters who are there to back them up. And I want to tell you, one of the other questions I was asked was, how do you feel as mayor about what's going on across the street? And I have to tell you, I knew the men and women who were across the street, and I had utter confidence that everything that needed to be done was being done to the utmost level of professionalism and competency. And it's very good, as your mayor, to tell you that I have that confidence. And so I would like at this time to ask the Sheriff's Department people who are here and the firefighters who are here, we're here to support them, to please stand up for a moment so this community can give you our thanks. Thank you very much. And now I want to get on with the State of the City address, and I'm going to tell you we're going to go over a little bit because this was very important for us to do. So if you need to leave as I'm speaking, just go do your thing. That's okay. But I think what we have to say is important enough to continue with it. One of the things, going from this episode to what I was going to talk about, some of the connecting features has to do with partnerships. This worked because of all the partnerships here, because we are a city, and this isn't true in every city, where the educational institutions and the city government, the business community, and our law enforcement, all of the community work together to provide the kind of community you want. It's that kind of cooperation that enables us to respond in these kind of instances the way we do, with a great deal of clarity, confidence, and with a very good outcome. Another issue this has to deal with is close to my heart, and as mayor, you do get to deal with some of your favorite passionate issues, has to do with the issues of the young adults in our community. And I have long felt, and those of you that know me know this is nothing new to you, that they feel somewhat disenfranchised often, that they don't feel included or that they matter or that we listen to them. And I want to tell you there's a whole table over there of teens who you're going to see later who've been serving on a committee for over a year that meets twice a month. It's our skateboard committee. They faithfully come to those meetings to fight for something they believe in. We're trying to find them a place where they can pursue an active, honest sport. That we have signs all over the city that says, don't do it. Don't go skateboarding here. Don't rollerblade here. Don't hang out on the mall. Don't do this. Don't dress that way. We don't like your music. But by the way, we want you to behave yourself and be a very good part of this community. This is all about youth issues, what happened yesterday. The young woman is 19 years old. A young adult was very responsible. The young man, very troubled, 19 years old, who almost killed a lot of people. And all those young people at the university yesterday morning. Those are the people that I don't think we serve as well as we should. So throughout this address today, you're going to hear me talking about programs that we do, ones that we don't do yet that I'm hoping this year that we are going to implement and move forward on. I think that is an important part of the community. My year as mayor, it's one of the things I'm going to emphasize. Partnerships is what we are all about. That's what makes Cupertino unique. And I want to start out taking you on a journey through the city to show you where we're addressing some of the issues that through our community congresses And our surveys and just our one-on-one communications you have told us are important to you. Housing is at the top of everyone's list. Housing, more housing is affordable housing. We can't afford to live here. Our grandkids can't live here. Our children can't live here. Our teachers can't live here. Our retired people can't live here. What are you going to do about it? You know, well, we're doing something about it. We can't solve it on our own, and then we're going to be asking you for input as we scope our general plan this year as to how we deal with that in a more, in a continuing way. If we're going to have more housing, it has to be denser housing, because guess what, folks? We're running out of land. If we want to save the green space and we want to save open space, it has to go up. Do we want to do that? Where do we want to do that? Where are the pockets of density we want to do that? You're going to have to be included this year as we scope our general plan to answer those questions. You want a community center, a center for gathering, a vibrant retail place. I want Valco renovated and vibrant. We are working on those things, and I'm going to take you through the city and show you what we're doing. As we do that, I'm going to talk about partnerships and why we can't do it in isolation. Why our developers who have always been boogeymans in this town, you don't talk to them, you don't meet with them, my gosh, you know, they're bad people, are here today. They're here, they're here, they're there, and they're there. And they're there because we've opened up the communications and we said, this is the kind of development we want. You can't have just all office. If you want to build office in this city, you have to give something to the community. Give us some housing, give us a conference center, give us something that the community needs, give us a skate park, you know, a teen center. Something you have to work with us so that in return for what you get for your business, to have you have a healthy business, you become a part of our community, and we do that through partnerships. So I'm going to highlight some of those and how the business community gets involved, the small business and the large businesses. So we're going to start out taking you on a view that very talented, very young video crew that works with me, Liz and Ray and Pete, and they'll kill me for telling you their names, have worked very hard on this. So Michael, if you'll turn the lights down, we're going to open up with a short video crew of what Cupertino looks like today, and then we're going to walk through where we're going and how we're going to get there. Pete? They did a great job, and they did it with canned music. You know, we couldn't use any great music we wanted, so it took us a while to find that. I want to start out today introducing to you some of the staff, because we have turned over the staff in this last year because of retirements. We have a completely, almost completely new senior staff. And while you've met your elected officials and we're the policymakers, this is the staff that implements the day-to-day business of the city, and I briefly want to tell you a little bit about them. David Knapp this is the last time I'm going to call him our new city manager. He's been here for over a half year now. He came to us from Los Gatos. He brought with him a lot of experience in areas we did not have much experience in: redevelopment, libraries, healthy, vital retail centers, trails, and he has fallen in love with this community and now lives in Cupertino. Carol Atwood is our long-term, I think, senior manager. She's been with us 6.5 years. Most of you know Carol. She's the Director of Administrative Services, and she also lives in the city. Steve Piasecki started in Cupertino, went to Campbell, got some more experience, and we got him back this last year. He is their Director of Community Development, and he is absolutely very, very busy, and he loves it when I come into his office with all my new ideas. Ralph Qualls is fairly new to us. He came from the city of San Jose, where he was the Director of Public Works, and you may wonder why he came from the mega department he had in San Jose to work in Cupertino. It's because he's lived here for 15 years and he wanted to roll up his sleeves and stop administrating and actually get some work done. He is on our library committee, so we work very closely together. Welcome, Ralph. Therese Smith is brand new. She's our Parks and Rec Director, and she has been here about 2 weeks, I think. Therese, is that right? And she immediately came and met with me, like on the first day, poor thing, about the skate park facility meeting, and she has the senior center and all kinds of facilities under her. We have an extensive Parks and Recreation department. She's a very busy lady, and we're very happy to have her. She came from Half Moon Bay, and before that, Juneau, Alaska. Kim Smith is our city clerk. Kim's been with us for quite a while. She is somebody that many of you deal with, and she is a contact to the outer world and also keeps us legal in the area of doing our agenda and lets people like me know when all of our reports are due to the FVPC. She's an important part of our senior staff. Linda Lagergren is the person that makes me look good. She makes all of the council look good and our city staff, and she's somebody that probably all of you have met. Linda is our secretary, and she pretty much runs the place. She's been here since '89. You must be the long-term person there. Okay. And of course, our part of our staff also, while we contract out, is the Sheriff's Department, and you've met Laurie and Jeff Miles, who did not give me a photograph, so you may stand up, Jeff. Captain Jeff Miles is actually our Chief of Police. There you go. And then our Fire Department is led by Chief Doug Sporleader. Somebody whose picture is not up here is our City Attorney, Chuck Killian. You're here somewhere, and you didn't get us a picture either, so you may stand up. This is our City Attorney, Chuck Killian. That is our staff. It's a staff that works very hard for you, as does your council. We represent you, and together, with your cooperation, we will be moving forward to address some of the goals and visions that you have that we implement for you. And I'd like to start with our Cupertino Senior Center, because it is a building which is almost completed and of which we are very proud. And I know Mark Schatz, the architect, is here somewhere. Where are you, Mark? Mark is a very gifted architect, and I've really enjoyed working with him. Don Burnett and I sit on this committee, and it has been very exciting. Our new senior center is double the size of the old one. We spent about $4 million on it, and when I think of the $22 million we're going to spend on a library, it doesn't seem like much now. Our senior center is vibrant with active, articulate, and exciting seniors, and we have built a facility that we are very proud of that does include a new community room We don't have enough of these rooms like this, and we are booked solid, so we decided while we were building a building, rather than trying to build a new one, we would put $1 million more into this one, and we ended up with an absolutely gorgeous, Pete, hold it for a second, building that has a patio out on the back. Can we go to the next one? This is the outside of the building and the patio, so it faces onto Memorial Park, and it has its own secured entrance and lobby and bathrooms, and it is something that we are very proud to offer to the community. We will be opening that to the community on the 2nd and 3rd of March. You will all be invited to that opening. And the first group that has booked it for the grand opening as a community group is the Chamber of Commerce, and they will be having their Citizen and Business of the Year there on the 31st of March. So that will be an exciting way to open that community room. It's a beautiful community room, and these are the kind of views that you will see. As you know, that Memorial Park is used for many community festivals and gatherings. That's why we felt that adding that room onto the senior center just made that whole area of Memorial Park a more vibrant one. After the senior center, I'm going to move along to Civic Center. Oh, let me talk first about the partnerships. Thanks, Pete. We're hoofing it here today, folks, so be patient with us. What I want to talk about partnerships. The senior center, once we got it built, we really didn't have a lot of income left to put furniture and stuff inside of it. So I went out and talked to community to say, how would you like to partner with us on this? Cupertino Rotary is one of the first groups that got involved. And their golf tournament, which is one of their major fundraisers, and these are some of the sponsors up here, their major sponsor being Hanson Permanetti, has given a little over $70,000 to the senior center as a major as a major service group donor to the senior center. So we are very proud of that contribution. Also, the Outback Steakhouse, which does the food in the evening for that golf tournament, is a major contributor to the senior center, as is Hobie's, which does the food and coordinates the food on the holes. Actually, the Outback and Hobie's, if we can stay there for just a second, is a very good example of a smaller business that becomes very involved. Sometimes you just think of the Apples or the Compacts or the big corporations as having something to give to a community to make an impact. Businesses like Hobie's and Outback are everywhere. They have been everywhere. No matter what school goes and asks them to contribute or to help, they're there to do it. They do it usually very quietly behind the scenes. Both serve on the chamber, and they're active in CCS, and that's the kind of involvement that we look for companies that want to come and have business in this community. We expect you to become a part of the community. Pete? Kiwanis is also another service group that's a very big part of the senior center. Every year, we can roll this, every year they do a luncheon for the seniors. They've done it for many, many, many years. They cook it, they serve it, and it is a very important part of our senior center, and we thank them very much. Grosvenor is a new contributor to the senior center that they came to me a while ago and talked about building housing in the city, and we sent them to city staff, and we encouraged them to build for sale attached housing. And they came through, and their housing development, which will be on the back of the Honeywell Measurick property facing onto Imperial, will be some attached for sale housing. As their corporate donation to get involved in the community, they have given $10,000 to the senior center, which the seniors are going to use for their portable stage and for their stove, their very large stove. Grosvenor has also donated $10,000 to Operation Outreach, which is a wonderful Don't Drink and Drive program, which I'll talk about later in this program. Apple, just yesterday morning, at Hobie's, as a matter of fact, gave me the news that they are going to donate 9 iMacs to our Mac computer center at Senior Center. Apple also is involved in a laptop program with the High School District Foundation. They have become a major contributor to the effort to put a laptop in every student's hands in order to further technology education and the access to technology in the high school district. And we thank them for their contribution. Anza College is right across the street, and isn't it nice to see this today, Martha? Anza College, which we partner with in many, many, many ways. The Chamber and Anza and the city partner on a Leadership Cupertino program, which I'm very proud to be chair of, and the last 2 years we've done a teen leadership program, which you'll hear about later also. So Anza is certainly a very important part of our community, and I am very proud to work with someone like President Martha Cantor we collaborate in many issues. It's an honor to work with her. Now let's go down as we walk through the city to to City Hall and the new Library Center. And the first issue we had was, where do we put the library? There was a real debate about, should it go on an existing field adjacent to the current library, or should it go between the two buildings? And after certainly a lot of meetings and a lot of public input and a lot of help on the part of consultants, that committee proposed to City Council that it be placed between the two buildings, a bit to the back. As you can see, we don't have an architect on board yet, so it hasn't been exactly designed, but that would save some space in the front that will blend into another development, which I'll talk about in a moment. Where we are with the library right now is we put out a request for architects to come and talk to us about the project to see who would be interested, and Ralph Qualls had that meeting last week, and there were 52 architects there from all over the country. There is an incredibly immense interest in our public library, so we will have an opportunity to do that. Michael Chang and I co-chair that, so we will be serving on the architectural interview committee, as will some community members, and we'll be moving forward with that immediately. So at the same time we were dealing with the library, fortunate for us, a local developer, Hunter Storm Properties, happened to sit right here, came forth to tell us that they had bought the property adjacent to City Hall. Much of the two-block area, which is between Torrey and De Anza and between Pacifica and Rodriguez. And they had been very involved with City Council. They had come and acted, freely given their time from time to time to our economic development committees, and given us their expertise as we tried to explore, how do we create a town center, how do we revitalize strip malls. And so they kind of knew what our vision was for the city. So when they came to us and told us that they had acquired this land, fortunate for us being local developers, they knew what we wanted and immediately said we would like to create a town center there. That is something that all of you have been asking us for a very long time. Hard thing to do when you don't have a traditional downtown to build on. This is a very exciting project, and I want to tell you that all of these plans are very preliminary. There is no public process in place yet because we're still working with them, rolling up our sleeves, just kind of getting together with visionary concepts. But the developer has been kind enough to allow me to share them with you today. The whole concept is for it to be a mixed-use concept, which includes office, residential, retail, and a very with a park kind of setting in the center that goes right into the plaza and the new library building. There will be a road that comes off of De Anza Boulevard. Can we go back a little bit, Pete? That comes off of De Anza Boulevard that draws you, which has been there from the very beginning anyway in the plans, which draws you then into the town center development. Within that, there will be restaurants and retail centers. Deke Hunter and Ed Storm have been gracious enough to talk to us about some of the visions that we as a council have for that being a place to have festivals and for the market to come, the farmers market to eventually come there. And so they have done things like plan to put additional outlets in the stanchions where the street lights are, and have agreed to talk to, for instance, I had some of the people from SEAF who are here, Steve Andrews and Eleanor Watanabe, and Michael Bruner and I went and spoke to them this week about SEAF is looking for a place to display some children's fountain or a plaza of some kind as a way to say thank you for their new endowment, where they're trying to raise money to finance arts in the classroom and technology. And Deke Hunter has very graciously said, and very enthusiastically, let's design something, let's make it work. And that's the kind of partnerships that makes a city very unique. Also, they are going to provide the parking spaces for city staff on their property, so we can open up the city staff parking spaces for library patrons, and we do not need to build a library garage, which saves us about $3 million on our library. So that's the kind of collaboration. When you open up communication with those big bad developers, that happens and works. So now you have them developing something that works for you as a city because you're working as a team. You're not working like this. And we have them working with the school district and helping us to maximize our public dollars. Around the corner is Portal. You've seen this pink pinkish kind of building. I must tell you that John Little, their CEO, is on a plane on his way back from Switzerland. He did call me to tell me that and say he was sorry he couldn't be here. They have just gotten involved in the community. They have 2 programs we're very proud of right now. They sponsored the Tomorrow's Leaders Today, which is the program for teen leadership. They did their business day, and they did a great job. They had all of those young people, those young students in the corporate briefing room. They fed them, which is very important to teens, and their CEO and their CFO and all their leading people came in and shared with them how they got to be who they are. What did school mean to them? How did they get into their career, and what matters and what didn't to them, and how successful they are, and they want to do it again. They also have a partnership with Martha Canner at Anza College, which I really just learned about a couple days ago. And they have an intern program where they took 20 interns in last summer, young students, into their corporation to spend the summer to learn about industry, and they ended up hiring some of them. And they are going to continue that intern program, another wonderful example of partnership and talking to each other. Around the corner is going to be our new hotel, right on the corner of De Anza and Stevens Creek. We've been working for a long time. These are final approved plans now of this development. This is a beautiful hotel, and KIMPTON is here represented, and it is one we worked a long time coming up with a wonderful design that reflected the history of this city, which includes a 5-star hotel. We desperately need hotels in this city, and a standalone restaurant in the front. It will face down onto the Four Seasons Park, which is that green space you see on the corner there, which, if you wonder why it hasn't been developed, the reason it hasn't been developed is because there's developments going on here, which then will you don't build all the park and then tear it apart and put it up again. So when these developments are done, it is being designed at the same time. KIMPTON Hotel, we're really looking forward to it. The taxes you get off of hotel rooms, I tell you folks, are very important to a city. They help us keep your streets clean and pay for your protection and have your parks and recreation department and whatever. So not only to provide the services that business and people who don't have a place for their relatives to stay when they visit, they help us with our financial situation. We are very happy to have the KIMPTON people as being a part of our city. Around the corner is a new apartment complex by the Prometheus Group. And Prometheus owns most of city centers, so they are longtime developers in our city. They are here today also. And this is an answer to some of our housing needs. This is designed to complement the hotel. It has retail on the bottom. You will see that as you come around to face the park. There will be some cafes with outside tables to sit at and umbrellas to sit under, and the 2 projects are designed together with the park to be a walkable, open access to the community. We are hoping with the adjacent property at Town Center, and by the way, these 2 developers are working together to make sure that what they are planning works well, so that you will want to meander from one to the next. So now we start to define a real town center where you have some retail, you have people that live, you have people that work, you have bicycles and rollerblading and walking, and you have open space. So you have a park setting here, you have one in the middle of town, Civic Park Town Center, and you have a field and an open space also at City Center, at City Hall. So all of those together will begin to define what we hope will be a very vibrant, very wonderful town center. Prometheus has become very involved in the community over the last year or 2, and they have chosen to do their community involvement in the areas of youth and housing. So they are very involved with SEIF, just newly getting identified with them, and involved in their endowment program. They have been a supporter of the Fremont Foundation, and also of the Rotary Kinderplatz area where the kids are, and there they are doing the chicken dance. And also they are involved in housing. I asked them to take a look at CCS's affordable housing project and to give them a hand with it. It was kind of stalled. Pete, you can go on. And that is our next project. If you go down Stevens Creek, right behind our new fire station, we have our first affordable housing project in the city of Cupertino, and I am very proud to have been a part of that from the beginning. That is a small housing, affordable housing project as they go, 24 units. Affordable housing in the middle of Cupertino, sort of an oxymoron. We are very proud of this because we've all worked very hard. In addition, CCS is doing their own fundraising to build a new office for themselves and services for the community. CCS is Cupertino Community Services, our social service arm in our community and in West San Jose and surrounding communities. This is an idea that came to me, and this is a really good example of how one person can make a difference. So while corporations and communities and small businesses and big businesses partner with us and they make something happen, just like the young woman at Long's who picked up the phone and called and made something happen, sometimes a person with an idea is what makes it happen. And I talk to young people all the time about this. Hold your ideas and your dreams close, and if you keep after it, sometimes it takes one person to keep after it and after it and after it and after it. Mary Ellen Schell came to me, I bet you, 3 years ago? 4 years ago, with a twinkle in her eye and a huge heart and wonderful ideas in her head, and she got my attention like that. She motivated me, she got me on board. And I think for the first 2 years, we just went to everybody and talked to everybody, went to the county and begged. Doug Sporlier is probably so tired of hearing us come in this office. And we finally got a piece of property. And we got partnerships from other agencies like Cupertino National Bank, which got on board right away and helped with the fundraising and opened some doors for us. The city got involved. We put aside $1.6 million to be an advocate and an important part of this project. And Prometheus got on and helped us to fine-tune what was happening there. This is an example of partnerships that really work. Above and beyond that, it's an example of a unique human being in our community that had a dream and made it happen. Please stand up for a second, Mary Ellen, and let us say thank you. And you know what? It's going to happen. And we're all going to be here to open it up, and we're going to be so proud of that. Carl Gardino has heard me talk about that project until he's probably sick of it at every meeting we have at Silicon Valley Manufacturing Group that deals with housing, but we're very, very proud of it. Our new fire station. Our new fire station, we contract out with the fire district. As I said, we have the 3 newest firehouses in the county. We are proud of them. We are very proud of our personnel. They're going to have a grand opening sometime soon, and you'll all be invited. Our firefighters not only provide preventative fire services for us, take care of us when we're in a medical or a fire emergency, but they become an important part of our community also. They're always there when we ask. They barbecue at just about everything. They do the CCS barbecue every year. Anytime we ask them to do that, they're there. Some of the special services for youth, this is Marcia Garcia's. I think it's called Kaleidoscope. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcia. And it's a wonderful program for young people. You may have seen this in the Courier recently, where they come and learn what it's like to be a firefighter. They kind of get a hands-on experience with that. It's very successful, very exciting, and we're very proud of it. Here's a program that I personally have gotten involved in, Operation Outreach. Operation Outreach is a program to foster in youth. Hopefully, we try to foster in them, encourage them to lead a drug-free life. And it's focused on not drinking and driving. It came out of one person's mind, Captain Joe Veramontes from Santa Clara County Fire District. He got tired of scraping up young people off the pavement and pulling them from around trees when their lives were ruined because they drank and they drove. And so he said there has to be a better way. This program is where we simulate drunk driving accidents on our school campuses. It's a cooperative effort between the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, Emergency Response, the city. We arrest the young person who was supposedly drunk driving. And this is one that we did at Cupertino High School, which was also every 15 minutes, which is an extension of that program, which we will be doing this year at Monte Vista High School. And that's where we actually take someone every 15 minutes out of the classroom that supposedly died, and we bring them into a hotel and we stay overnight with them. This year, I will be staying overnight with them where they write letters to their parents about things they didn't say and things they didn't do. Michael Lashin is going to be a part of that, and he's going to help with that in the evening also. We're looking right now, and I'm going to ask for your help right now, for either a hotel that will let us have 24 rooms at a reduced rate on March 28th, or a corporate sponsor who will help pay for the current rate so we can do that. But I want to acknowledge at this point another human being, another one person who had a dream, who followed that dream, who kept after it and after it and after it and after it, who impacts young people's lives every moment of every day, and I am proud to be a part of his board and to serve with him. Captain Joe Vermontes, would you please stand up? And we are very pleased to partner with him in Operation Outreach. That brings us to the Sheriff's Department, and we talked a bit about them, so we'll kind of scoot through this one. But the Sheriff's Department does a lot of other things for us also. These are two of our deputies who, for I think 3 years running, have won a major motorcycle competition, Ron Corral and Kim Morgenthaler. And I think they're embarrassed now to compete because they've kind of taken it away. These are community services. They do a lot of things for us other than what you think of as the traditional role of law enforcement, because we want our Sheriff's Department to be community police. And so we have them out in the community working with students, working with the community. This is Janet Shannon, Deputy Janet Shannon. She's here today, and she's one of our school resource officers. She works with our young people. And she is a very big implementer in our Teen Academy. Our Teen Academy is an opportunity for teenagers to spend time learning what it's like to be in law enforcement. I went through the Sheriff's Academy as an adult, and you really do find out what happens when they stop just for traffic, someone for some kind of traffic violation, how very dangerous that is. All the ins and outs of law enforcement. It's a wonderful program, a program that we will continue with. The DARE program is Dare to Say No to Drugs. You probably all know about that. It's in all of our schools. It's a partnership between the high school district, the elementary school district, the city, and the Sheriff's Department. Again, something none of us could do in isolation, and we impact young people's lives every day. That program has been in existence for many, many, many years. Oh, the Sharks are involved in that too. I forgot. Oh. Now we'll go down Stevens Creek to two developments the Pinn brothers have, and the Pinn brothers are here somewhere. Where are the Pinn brothers? There they are. Pinn Brothers is a construction development firm in our town. This is on the site of the old Adobe Inn. And this is a smaller hotel, a very unique hotel that they have designed to kind of encompass the culture and the feel of what was there before. It's a very nice hotel. We're very proud of it. Certainly improves that area on that side of Stevens Creek, and again will provide us with a much needed resource for the city. They also have a development, a mixed-use development across the street on the old P.J. Mulligan site, which is a site we have been wanting to renovate and upgrade for a very long time, and we are delighted to have a developer take that in hand and listen to our inputs. That is for sale attached housing, and all of it, and it has retail on the bottom. So it is a mixed use, and it is a very walkable, open development. It's a beautiful, beautiful plan. We're very excited about it. The reason that this council and staff is trying to talk to developers about doing attached for sale housing is that we have in our housing area, we have single family homes that tend to go for $1 million plus, and we have rentals. And what we don't have is anything in the middle, that first time homeowners or retired people or people can, and I hate to tell you, and the median price is like $500,000 to $700,000 in this community, but we are working really hard to get the word out to our housing developers that we want you to come in with at least part of your project. We would really like you to come with at least part of your project for sale, not all of it for rent. And so we were very happy when Pinn Brothers came with the whole project for sale. That's very important for us. In addition to that, they have just decided to become involved in a different way in our community, and I'm not going to tell you what that is right now, but I'm very excited about it, and at the end of this talk, I have some very exciting news for you, and they are a part of that. Then takes us to Velco, and certainly everybody wants us to improve Velco, don't they? I mean, is there anybody here who doesn't want us to do that? We've been working on that one for a long time, folks, a really long time, and the Jacobs Group has that property now. They're out of Cleveland. They are here today, and I like this. This is one of their things which says change is good. And We just announced this week, if you didn't know, that the Century Theater signed on. We have a 16-screen complex coming in there with all the state-of-the-art and wonderful seats. And this is, by the way, let me stop for a second, Pete. This is preliminary sketches also. We do not have anything permanent yet. These developers today have been very nice to me. I told them I was going to talk about their project, and I would really like to have something to show, so you can just have me talk out of my head, or you can give me something to show, right? But I don't want to show them anything that they shouldn't see yet. So they were all very nice about giving me something to show to you, and these are kind of visualizations of what it might look like at Valco. The real key there is that now that we have something like a major theater complex, other stores are interested that weren't interested before. And so we now have renewed interest with some major retail stores that I can't mention now, but that will be very exciting. And so our goal there is, the vision is to create, rather than the old model of the 3 anchor department stores with mall stores in between, is a vibrant recreation, entertainment, and retail center. So new restaurants, many new restaurants that are interested, new retail sales, and we're adding recreation and entertainment centers. The entertainment, of course, came with the theaters. We have a major recreation ice capades there already. We have some other ideas, Dave and I, that we're talking to Jacob's group about. One of the things that Valco does to participate in the community for the last 3 years, they have partnered with the Northwest YMCA to help them do some fundraising for their major facilities renovation. And I forget how much, but I think it was something like $78,000, something like that, over the last 3 years that they have donated. And the way this works is, this is a very creative model here for working together. Valco wanted to provide free gift wrap for their customers. They would pay employees, obviously, to work. They went to a nonprofit and said, would you like to have volunteers do it? And then instead of paying for employees, we'll give you the money. It's a beautiful partnership that works. It works for both of them, and it's just one of those private industry ideas that didn't come out of government or bureaucracy. It came from, private industry who went to a social agency that needed some help. So that's been very helpful. We move on to Compact. Compact is the adjacent property right down Stevens Creek, that big dirt lot there, and with all their buildings behind it. But everybody wonders, what is that dirt lot? Well, they have a nice piece of land there that they would like to build, expand their office site on. Go back, Pete, please. They talked to us from the very beginning, and we asked them to come in with something other than just office, and told them what our community needs were. Some of the needs we told them about was housing, and more housing, retail, walkable community. This is one of our goals. We need a conference center. We have no place to have the gala or the foundation dinner. This is as big a group as we can get, and we're sold out here at about 260. So. And skate park, I keep saying it, teen center, all these things we talk about. Can you, if you can include any of these things, we want to work with you on this. Compact has come through in a very creative way. I talked to Carl Gardino about this a lot at Silicon Valley Manufacturing Group and other people concerned with housing. My personal bias is that corporate America needs to step up and help us with the jobs, housing, and balance. They own some of the biggest pieces of land left in this valley, and they've got cars sitting on most of them. So you know what? They need to do something with that land, either put the cars underground and use it to help us with housing and other issues. But in Compact's thing, we said, if you could come in with some housing, we know you don't do housing, get a housing developer, but help us with our housing needs here. We would like to do some retail there, and then we would like to change the land use so that the Compact property flows into Valco. If you don't know that, there's a perimeter road there called Perimeter Road, because it goes right through there, and it goes right into the back, like where the Penny's parking lot is in Valco. And so if we can extend some of the vibrancy of that community to encourage people to walk from place to place, people that live there, people that work there, people that will go there to shop and to visit. And Compact, these are very preliminary plans again. I'll tell you, they're sharing them with us. Staff doesn't have any formal plans application, although we've been working with them constantly on this. So these are just some of their concepts of what they will be providing. I do, however, want to commend them for coming in with a huge housing component to this. And they are even thinking, this is a new thought, I got them thinking about attached for sale housing, and they didn't say no, they said let's think about it, let's work on it. So there's a possibility some of that housing could come in for sale also. Okay, two of the programs that Compact is very involved in, their corporate structure giving policy is they want to give to programs. And so mainly they like programs that are youth-centered. They sponsor a Youth Heroes program. In fact, I was very honored to be asked by, I didn't know about that until recently, by the Netscape Young Heroes group to be their hero. And basically what that is are middle college students who spend a year and they learn how to do teamwork and how to do leadership skills, and they adopt someone in the community that they would like to be a role model and to work with them. Compact has been involved in that program. It's an exciting program. And I was a guest speaker at their kickoff about a month ago. And then Compact invited that whole group of over 100 students to an overnight at their campus. They slept there in their backpacks. Their corporate people came out and spent time with them. It's just an absolutely wonderful idea. And they also sponsor a Reading is Cool program. In fact, it was kind of neat because Shauna asked me recently to just go to Garden Gate. They were having their kickoff for Reading is Cool and read to some students, and I do that all the time. So I went off thinking, this is fine, this is cool, I'm going to read to kids. And when I drove up, there was the whole Sharks team out in front. You know, I didn't know that they partnered with the Sharks Foundation and with the San Jose Mercury News. I'm a big Sharks fan. I got to meet all the Sharks players, and I got to talk to kids, and I got to meet the VP of Compact who was there, which was very good because we talked a lot about something I had in mind for part of their land that day. As mayor, you get to talk about and you get to focus on some of the issues that are really important to you. I shared with you my passion for young people and for some of their concerns and some of their issues and how to get them involved. Some of the things we're going to do this year, and this is with the approval and help of my staff, of our staff and with my fellow council members, is we're going to open a job fair, a teen job fair. Bill Sullivan, the president of the chamber, is very interested with the chamber partnering in this, and Joe Hamilton, the superintendent of the high school district, has said yes. And we will be going to all of our high school campuses with the business community, and we will have a job fair for teens, where you have your jobs, the companies that have trouble finding employees and teams that want jobs, and we'll bring them together, and HR consultants like me will work with them on how to fill out applications and interview, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The Sheriff's Department has agreed to an idea I have where we're going to have a teen summit, where we're going to bring teens and law enforcement personnel together without their uniforms on, and just talk about who I am and who you are, and why I don't like you and why I don't like you and why I do like you and how this works and how that doesn't work, kind of a model like Oakland did. That was actually brought to my attention by my son, who had seen a production of the Oakland model on TV about a year ago. So we're going to do that. I'm very excited about that. We are looking into a teen commission. And I'm pretty excited about this. We're trying to decide now between a teen committee and a teen commission, but I think we're leaning toward a commission where, like our planning commission, our Parks and Rec commission, we would have a teen commission where they would interview with the council, and they would be appointed, and they would be a commission that would advise us on youth issues and give them an investment in the community, which I'm pretty excited about. In addition to that, there's something near and dear to my heart we've been working on a long time. We have been trying to get a teen center and a skate park in this community since we started the teen task force 4 or 5 years ago. Michael and Martha are on that. They've been on that with me. We started the advisory council, and I talked to thousands and thousands of teens, and what at the top of their list was a gathering place for teens, a teen center, a skate park, some other things after that, and the council approved on a 5-0 vote to put money aside and find a location for a skate park about a year and a half ago. We hope to have that done by the end of last year. We've had the architect on board. These young people who have left for a minute because they're going to come do something for you in a second, have been meeting twice a month for over a year faithfully. We've gone out to our community parks, and it's become obvious because of the community reaction that they want those neighborhood parks to be small neighborhood parks. So we looked at our community parks like Blackberry Farms and Memorial Park, and we didn't have room. So I went looking at corporate America, and everybody said they won't do that. That's unheard of. Corporate America will never give you space or help you build a skate park. Well, I'm here to tell you that in Cupertino we do things a little bit different, and don't tell us it can't be done, because we have a corporation in this city that has agreed to give us a ½ acre of land to build our skate park. We have a construction firm, Pin Brothers, who has agreed to build the building we need. We need a building now with 2 bathrooms and a staff room. And we have Hanson Permanetti, who's giving us the concrete. So we have a big announcement to make today. So can we have the lights off, Michael? are the kids that have been working for over a year, faithfully with us. And Compact is the company that was creative and dynamic enough to give us a piece of land to build our skate park. It's going to be wonderful. These are kids that have a skill that involves their mind and their body in a healthy endeavor. We're excited about a community that values young people and will provide them with an opportunity to be a part of the community. This is a real partnership where we have a major corporation giving us space, we have a construction company who's going to build our building, we have Hanson Permanentes giving our cement, and we have the young people who are going to design it. And I wondered if some of them would like to tell you about their experience. How do I get this off of here? Well, I guess. Okay. I think they have a representative who's going to talk to you a little bit about their experience on this committee.
This makes me feel important. You know, this podium, I really like it. Like Mayor James was saying, we've been working on this skate park for pretty much a year now. And to be honest, when I was beginning, I didn't know it was going to take that long, and I don't know if any of us did. And I just thought it was a fairly simple, process. But through all the meetings that we've had and all the things that we've had to go through, I've realized that it's quite difficult, and there are obstacles that you can't really prepare for, and it's really not easy, and it takes time. These things take time. So just learning about the process and how difficult it was, I think made all of us more appreciative of what the city was doing for the teen community. So I really thank them for that. We really appreciate it. And also, I think this is a great example of what Mayor James was saying before about partnerships in the community. This is a perfect example of teamwork, excellent teamwork in the community that's really going to benefit us in the future. It's a collaboration between us, the young people of the community, who have the vision and the idea and the need for a skate park, and it's a partnership between us and the community and the leaders of the community who really make this happen. And I think we bring to the table characteristics that complement each other. Like, I remember near the beginning, it was kind of like the adults of the committee were like, "What's a half pipe?" And us, like the teens in the committee were like, "What's an RFP?" What? There you go. You'll learn. So I think through this process and just working with them and just this great teamwork that we've had going, we've really learned a lot, I think, from each other, through the process. And we really have come a long way. It's quite impressive to look back and see the things that we've done. And I'm just really excited about how far it's going to take us in the future.
Aren't they wonderful? You see, this is what we're talking about. I thank you, Compact. Thank you, Penn Brothers. Thank you, Hanson. Thank you, staff. And thank you, students. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to invite you to the opening. I think the Sharks may even come. This is what I'm talking about. This is what our community is about. It's where we are, where we're going. If you're not part of the process and you're not on board, come on and join us. There's no reason not to be involved in this community. There's no reason not to have fun. There's no reason to collaborate and make magical things happen. So please join me. As mayor this year, my office is your office. I'm at your disposal to talk to you, to talk to your groups. And please help us with all of our youth issues. Help us with the economic development and the growth patterns that we've shown. And thank you very much for coming today. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks. You should have a seat.